The boardroom fell silent the instant Jordan Hale reached across the polished oak table and grabbed my hand in front of the entire senior team and our most important client from New York. "Alex, I can't pretend anymore," he said, his voice shaking but clear, his eyes locking onto mine with a determination I had never seen in the quiet intern who had spent the last 3 months barely speaking above a whisper. "This is real, and I know you feel it too. I've seen it in the way you look at me when you think no one notices." My stomach dropped as gasps echoed around the room. I yanked my hand away, my face burning, the weight of 20 pairs of eyes boring into me. How could this be happening? I was Alex Reynolds, the 35-year-old vice president of marketing at Horizon Agency in Chicago, the guy everyone saw as the straight-laced leader with a steady girlfriend and a bright future. Jordan, the 23-year-old kid from a small town in Wisconsin, had always been the model intern, shy, diligent, the one who blushed when I praised his work and avoided eye contact in meetings. Now, in one bold move, he had ripped open the door to a secret I had buried for years, the truth that I had fought to keep hidden even from myself. I stood up abruptly, mumbling something about an emergency call, and bolted from the room, my heart hammering against my ribs. The hallway blurred as I headed to my office, slamming the door behind me. Leaning against it, I slid to the floor, my mind racing. What had Jordan seen? Was it the lingering glances during late-night project sessions? The way I lingered when handing him feedback? I had convinced myself it was nothing, just admiration for his talent. But now, the memory of those moments flooded back, and with it came the panic. My family in rural Illinois would never understand. My father, a retired factory worker, still joked about real men and expected me to settle down with Emily, my girlfriend of 2 years, a cover I had maintained to keep the peace. At work, the industry was progressive on paper, but in practice, any hint of vulnerability could derail promotions. I had built this life brick by brick, and Jordan had just knocked the foundation out with one sentence. Hours later, when the office had quieted, I heard a soft knock. It was Jordan, his face pale, eyes downcast like the shy intern I thought I knew. "Mr. Reynolds, I'm so sorry," he said softly, using my formal title as if the meeting had never happened. "I didn't mean to do it in front of everyone. It just came out. I've been fighting these feelings since my first day here. The way you encouraged me, the late nights we spent brainstorming, it wasn't just professional for me. I thought maybe you felt the same." I stared at him, my mind a whirlwind of anger, confusion, and something else I couldn't name. "Jordan, you don't know what you've done," I whisper, my voice hoarse. "This could ruin both of us." He nodded, a single tear escaping. "I know, but living a lie was killing me. And I think it's killing you too." With that, he left, leaving me alone with the echo of his words and the beginning of a storm I couldn't stop. The rest of the week was a nightmare of whispered conversations and avoided glances. Colleagues gave me strange looks in the break room, and my boss, Mr. Harlan, called me in for a private chat about professional boundaries. I assured him it was a misunderstanding, a prank or something, but the damage was done. At night, I lay awake next to Emily, who sensed something was off but didn't press. "You seem distant, Alex," she said one evening as we ate takeout in my downtown apartment. I smiled weakly, telling her it was work stress. How could I explain that a 23-year-old intern had forced me to confront the part of myself I had denied since college, when I had dated a guy briefly before burying it under the pressure of expectations? Jordan's bold action had not only confused me, it had awakened a longing I thought was long dead. By Friday, I knew I couldn't avoid him forever. During a team lunch, Jordan sat across from me, his shy demeanor back in full force, but his eyes held a quiet strength. When the others left, he lingered. "Alex, can we talk?" "Not here, but somewhere private." I nodded against my better judgment. That evening, we met at a quiet coffee shop near the river. "I didn't plan the meeting thing," he admitted, stirring his latte. "But seeing you struggle every day, hiding who you are, it broke something in me. I'm gay and proud of it in my life outside work. But at the office, I stayed quiet for you. Until I couldn't." His words hit hard. I told him about my family, my fear of losing everything. He listened without judgment, his presence a strange comfort. As we parted, he squeezed my shoulder. You don't have to figure it all out tonight. But don't shut me out. Walking home through the windy Chicago streets, I felt the first crack in my armor. Maybe his boldness was the push I needed. The following Monday, the tension at work had not eased. Mr. Harlan pulled me aside again, this time more serious. Alex, the client, was impressed with the campaign idea, but the scene in the meeting raised eyebrows. We need to keep things professional. Is there anything going on I should know? I denied everything, blaming it on stress, but inside, I was unraveling. Jordan kept his distance during the day, the shy intern once more, but his emails were professional yet laced with subtle support. Great idea on the social media strategy. One read, followed by a private message on our internal chat. Thinking of you. Take care. I deleted it immediately, but the words stayed with me. That weekend, I drove to my parents' house in Peoria for my sister's birthday. The familiar flat landscape of Illinois did little to calm my nerves. My father greeted me with a firm handshake. How's that big city job treating you, son? When are you and Emily tying the knot? The question hit like a punch. I mumbled something about timing, but my mother noticed my distraction. You look troubled, Alex. Everything okay at work? I wanted to tell them to unload the burden Jordan had placed on me, but the words stuck in my throat. Instead, I spent the evening playing cards with my brother-in-law, listening to stories of normal family life. On the drive back to Chicago, I replayed Jordan's confession over and over. Was I gay? The question terrified me, but denying it was becoming impossible. Monday brought a new crisis. A colleague, Sarah from accounting, cornered me in the copy room. I saw what happened in the meeting, Alex. Jordan is a nice kid, but you should be careful. People talk. Her words were a betrayal I hadn't expected. Sarah had always been a friend. I confronted Jordan later, my voice low in the hallway. Did you tell anyone else? He shook his head, hurt flashing in his eyes. No, Alex, I wouldn't. But I can't change how I feel. The misunderstanding grew, leading to a heated argument in the parking garage after work. You think this is easy for me? I shouted. I've spent my whole life building this image. Jordan stood firm, his boldness shining again. And I've spent mine hiding parts of myself to fit in. But I'm done. If you can't accept who you are, that's your choice. But don't blame me for caring. His words cut deep, and as he walked away, I realized the conflict was no longer just with him. It was with myself. The week dragged on with more internal turmoil. I started seeing a therapist secretly, the first step in my awakening. It's okay to question, Alex, she said. Many men in your position face this. Her words gave me hope, but the fear remained. Emily noticed the change, and one night, I almost told her the truth. Is there someone else? She asked, tears in her eyes. I couldn't lie completely. It's complicated, I admitted. The conversation ended with her leaving for the night, leaving me alone with my thoughts. Jordan, meanwhile, threw himself into work, his shy nature masking the strength that had started all this. I found myself watching him more, the confusion turning to something warmer. By the end of the month, a business trip to New York loomed, and Jordan was assigned to assist me. The idea of being alone with him on the plane terrified and excited me. As we boarded, he gave me a small smile. We can keep it professional if you want. But the air between us was charged. During the flight, we talked about everything but the incident, his dreams of becoming a creative director, my struggles with family expectations. For the first time, I felt seen. In New York, during client dinners, his support was invaluable, and one evening, after a successful presentation, we walked Central Park. Thank you for not firing me, he said quietly. I stopped, looking at him under the city lights. I couldn't even if I wanted to. The moment hung, full of possibility, but I pulled back, the old fears winning. Yet, the seed of change was planted. Back in Chicago, the trip's closeness lingered like an unspoken promise. Emily and I decided to take a break, her intuition sharper than I gave her credit for. I deserve someone who's all in, Alex, she said calmly over coffee at our favorite cafe downtown. I nodded, the guilt heavy, but the relief real. For the first time in years, I didn't have to perform. At the office, Jordan kept the shy intern act perfectly, delivering reports with quiet efficiency, but his eyes held questions I wasn't ready to answer. A new campaign launch kept us both busy, late nights in the conference room, where the memory of his hand and mine replayed constantly. One evening, as the city lights flickered outside, he broke the silence. "I don't expect anything, Alex. I just wanted you to know you're not alone." His words cracked something inside me, and I shared fragments of my college confusion, the fear of disappointing my parents. He listened, nodding, his presence steady in a way no one else's had been. The misunderstanding with Sarah escalated when she accidentally mentioned the boardroom incident to another team member during happy hour. Rumors spread like wildfire through the open-plan floor, subtle side eyes, and hushed conversations following me everywhere. Mr. Harlan called me in once more. "Alex, this is becoming a distraction. Handle it." I assured him again, but the pressure mounted. Jordan offered to transfer departments, his voice soft but resolute. "If it protects you, I'll go." The sacrifice stung. He was the best intern we'd had in years, and his talent had saved our last client pitch. I refused, but the gesture forced me to see his courage clearly. That night, alone in my apartment overlooking the river, I journaled for the first time, pages filling with questions about identity, love, and what kind of man I wanted to become. The therapist encouraged small steps, a support group for men questioning their orientation, anonymous at first. Sitting in that circle, hearing stories so similar to mine, I felt the isolation crack. Family pressure intensified when my mother called about Thanksgiving plans. "Bring Emily, honey. Your father wants to talk about the future." I dodged, claiming work deadlines, but the lie tasted bitter. Jordan texted me that weekend, nothing heavy, just a photo of the Chicago skyline at dusk with the caption, "Thinking of our walk in New York." I stared at it for hours. The bold intern who had grabbed my hand had become the quiet anchor I didn't know I needed. Work friendships shifted too. My closest ally, Mark Creative, pulled me aside one afternoon. "Whatever's going on, I'm here. No judgment." His support was a lifeline, reminding me not all relationships had to end in betrayal. Still, the internal battle raged. Attraction to Jordan growing alongside terror of what coming out would mean for my career, my family, my entire identity. By mid-November, the campaign wrapped successfully, and the team celebrated with drinks at a rooftop bar. Jordan stayed on the edge of the group, shy as ever, but when our eyes met across the crowd, the connection was undeniable. I stepped outside for air, the cold wind biting. He followed. "You did great today," I said. He smiled faintly. We did. The conversation stayed light, but underneath was the weight of everything unsaid. Driving home, I realized Jordan's bold move hadn't just confused me. It had started me on a path toward honesty I could no longer ignore. The high of the wind mixed with the low of my secrets, creating a tension that demanded resolution. Thanksgiving arrived with its usual family rituals, but everything felt different. I drove to Peoria alone, the empty passenger seat a reminder of the break with Emily. My parents' modest house smelled of turkey and pie, laughter filling the rooms, yet I felt like an outsider in my own life. Dad clapped me on the back. "Proud of you, son. Big city success." The praise should have warmed me, but it only highlighted the lie I was living. During dinner, when talk turned to relationships, my sister teased, "When's the wedding?" I froze, fork midway to my mouth. Jordan's face flashed in my mind, his courage, his kindness. I changed the subject, but later, helping Mom with dishes, she touched my arm. "You seem lost, Alex. Whatever it is, we're family." Tears threatened, but I swallowed them. The drive back to Chicago was long, filled with imagined conversations where I finally spoke my truth. Monday at the office brought fresh betrayal. Sarah had apparently shared details with a mutual friend outside the company, and whispers reached my parents via a distant relative. My father called furious. "What the hell is going on up there? Some intern boy grabbing your hand? Is this some joke?" The confrontation over the phone left me shaking. I hung up, chest tight, and found Jordan in the break room. "My family knows," I said flatly. He paled. "Alex, I'm sorry. I never wanted this." His offer to resign came again, stronger this time. I'll leave tomorrow. You can blame it on me. The sacrifice hit hard. Jordan loved his role, had turned down other offers to stay. I refused, but the guilt weighed on both of us. That evening, we met at the coffee shop again. Over steaming mugs, he shared his own story. Coming out to his parents at 18, the initial rejection, the slow rebuilding of trust. It hurt, but it freed me, he said. His vulnerability mirrored my own fears, and for the first time, I admitted out loud, I'm scared I'm like you. Mark became my confidant, listening over beers after work. You've carried this alone too long, he said. His straight ally perspective helped normalize things. Therapy sessions deepened, unpacking years of repression. Work suffered slightly as I navigated the gossip, but Jordan's quiet support, extra research, thoughtful notes, kept projects on track. A company holiday party loomed, and the thought of facing everyone together terrified me. Jordan suggested we arrive separately, keeping distance. Yet, during the event, under twinkling lights in the decorated ballroom, our paths crossed near the bar. You look good, he murmured. The simple compliment sparked warmth I hadn't allowed myself to feel. We talked briefly about safe topics, but the undercurrent pulled stronger. Leaving early, I drove aimlessly along Lakeshore Drive, the city's lights reflecting on the water like scattered possibilities. Jordan's boldness had started a chain reaction, forcing choices I once avoided. The new year brought clarity in small doses. I volunteered for a diversity initiative at work, a subtle step toward openness. Jordan noticed, his shy smile returning with genuine pride. Family calls remained strained, Dad avoiding the topic while Mom checked in gently. Emily texted once, wishing me well, her grace a reminder of what I'd lost by hiding. Through it all, Jordan's presence grounded me. We shared lunches in the park when weather allowed, conversations flowing from campaigns to dreams. His growth showed in how he advocated for himself in meetings now, less shy, more assured. Mine emerged in quiet moments of self-acceptance. The misunderstanding that had nearly torn us apart became the bridge we crossed slowly, carefully. Winter deepened, and with it came the peak of my crisis. A leaked email from Sarah's circle reached HR, prompting an official inquiry. Mr. Harlan sat me down. Alex, we support our people, but this has to be handled. I defended Jordan fiercely, emphasizing his talent over the incident. The meeting ended with a warning, but the betrayal from within the team stung deepest. Jordan learned of it and immediately drafted his resignation letter. I won't let them use me to hurt you, he said, voice steady despite the pain in his eyes. Watching him prepare to sacrifice his dream job crystallized everything. I tore the letter up. No, we faced this together. That decision marked my turning point. I booked a flight to Peoria that weekend, determined to speak with my parents in person. The family confrontation unfolded in the living room where I'd grown up. Dad paced, face red. A man grabbing your hand? That's not the son I raised. Mom listened quietly at first, then spoke. Alex, do you love this boy? The question hung, raw and honest. I nodded, tears finally falling. I think I do, and I've been hiding it my whole life. The silence stretched, Dad's anger shifting to confusion, Mom's to quiet understanding. It wasn't acceptance yet, but it was a start. Dad muttered about needing time. Mom hugged me. Driving back, relief mixed with exhaustion. Jordan met me at the airport, his shy demeanor replaced by quiet support. Whatever happens, I'm here. We talked late into the night at my apartment, boundaries softening as I shared the visit. His hand found mine again, this time without shock, just warmth. Work stabilized as the inquiry closed with a note on professionalism. Mark rallied colleagues for subtle support, turning gossip into conversations about inclusion. Jordan and I navigated carefully, professional by day, friends by evening. A misunderstanding arose when he saw me with an old college buddy, assuming I'd reverted to hiding. I can't keep waiting if you're not sure, he said one rainy night. The hurt in his voice forced honesty. I'm sure. It just takes time. We reconciled over shared stories, his patience teaching me grace. Family calls improved. Mom asked about Jordan. Dad stayed silent, but didn't argue. The sacrifice Jordan nearly made lingered as a reminder of his depth, pushing me to advocate for him publicly in a promotion discussion. His growth mirrored mine, from shy intern to confident contributor, from bold confessor to steady partner in my journey. Spring arrived with hope. A company retreat in Wisconsin brought us closer, away from office eyes. Walks through woods echoed our first coffee shop talks, emotions surfacing safely. I realized Jordan's action hadn't destroyed me. It had rebuilt me stronger. Back in Chicago, I updated my social media subtly. A photo with Jordan at a neutral event. No labels, but clear connection. Colleagues noticed, some smiled, others shrugged. The internal crisis eased into acceptance, the psychological weight lifting with each honest step. Summer brought full-circle moments. Jordan's internship ended with a full-time offer, his talent undeniable. I stood beside him at the announcement, no longer hiding the pride in my eyes. Family visited Chicago for the 4th of July, the meeting tense but civil. Dad shook Jordan's hand awkwardly. Mom hugged him warmly. "Take care of my son," she whispered. The words healed old wounds. Jordan and I walked Navy Pier that evening, fireworks lighting the sky. "Thank you for grabbing my hand that day," I said finally. He laughed softly, the shy blush returning briefly. I was terrified, but it was worth it. Our relationship grew slowly, rooted in respect and shared growth. Dinners, quiet evenings, supporting each other's dreams. Work flourished with new campaigns celebrating diversity, my leadership more authentic. Friendships deepened. Mark became a brother figure. Family bonds mended through patience. The journey had tested every part of me. The internal doubt, the societal stares, the family resistance, the workplace whispers. Jordan's boldness sparked my awakening, turning confusion into clarity, sacrifice into strength. We stood together now, two men who had chosen honesty over fear, love over pretense. Chicago's skyline watched over us, unchanged yet forever different in my eyes. As we watched the lake waves at sunset, hand in hand without shame, I knew the bold move that once shattered my world had built something unbreakable. True or false? The intern's bold action in that meeting was a reckless betrayal that ruined everything, or the courageous spark that finally set me free.